Welcome back to another video. Like many out there, this video is also building battery packs, and I'm also using the BMS on this one. It is for the electric mower. So in this video I will show you how to confirm a BMS does its job by cutting off or switching off when fully charged, using one of these watt meters that you would have when you run around your house seeing what appliances use when you're trying to size up your system. Also, just an ordinary power supply. Both of those items will show and confirm that the BMS does its job. Anyway, let's get into it. This is a 7S5P. It's 7 in series, 5 in parallel. And a total of 236 watts. So that's for these electric mowers, which came originally with the lead acid pack. So it's been running flawlessly without a BMS. It's time to add one. So this is the BMS installed, which is a discharge rate of 30 amp. The mower only needs a discharge rate of 20 amp. So I've kept the balancing leads on so you can externally balance it. You look at that spread, 5 milliamp volts. This little balancer I got from Banggood, and it can do an 8S. You run through the menu by pressing the middle button there, and then do the middle button again, start, and it goes in balance mode. So I keep this on while I was trialing out the BMS to make sure it works. And how do we know that that is doing its job? Well, when we charge it, I set my power supply 30 volts. On the manual it does say 29.4, which is 4.2 volts over the 7S. I've just made like an adapter. So it gives me this XT90 connector to plug into there, and then that goes into the mower. So I've made an adapter for the mower, and that just plugs in here. The reason for that is when I charge with the correct power supply, it makes it easier to plug this in theory, to plug that into here, so you don't have to unplug it from the mower. So like I said, it charges only at 5 amps. So I use an XT60 connector. Anyway, let's plug it in and watch it charge. So now that's plugged in, and if you notice that the spread is 23 millivolt because it's under charge, and it's jumped up to 4 volts straight away. And the power supply, you can see it clearly drawing 5 amps at 146 watts. So when this gets near 4.2 volts, that will drop back to 0 amps because there'll be no draw of power through the power supply. So let's let that run for a little bit. In the meantime, how you connect the BMS. This comes with a balancing wire. So the black on this one goes to the most negative of the battery, and then so on until you get to the most positive of the battery. And then if you have a look down the side here, B minus goes to the battery, P minus goes to the negative on the power supply. This is the unit. I'll leave a link in the description below. So you've got your B negative to the most negative point on your battery pack where the black wire is connected, and then you just follow through the next one to the next, so on. You get to the most positive of the pack, which runs to the load and charge positive, and P negative comes out to the minus of your load or charge. There we go. BMS cut out. It's done its job, and there's 16 millivolts for the spread. However, we're not going to be charging with this. The idea is I've got this off eBay. And it's a 29 volt 2 ampere, which is good because, you know, just charge slowly, nice and easy. But I had to make sure what the volts were coming out. So the volts coming out, I put, once again, XT60 connector. Put our multimeter in that because it is turned on, and 30.30 volts. That's why I set the power supply at 30 volts. So let's take this out and plug this one in. With this not having any numbers, all we've got to work off is a light, and it doesn't change red, green, nothing, it's just on. So how do we know when this actually is charged? Confirm it with one of these meters. Now if anyone's doing a DIY power wall, I'm sure you'll have one of these running around the house checking stuff. So you can see it's 2.5 watts at the moment. So this unit draws 2.5 watts just sitting there doing. Let's top off these batteries by using the power supply. So watch what happens when connected. There we go. It's kicked up the 104 watt draw. And you've noticed that the batteries have lifted a little bit. It's only charging at no more than 2 amps. That's what it's rated at. So just keep an eye on the voltage on that screen here. When it gets to 29.3 thereabouts, it should cut out. Alright, let's just sit here and watch it go. If you have a look at the watt meter on the left, it's dropped down. That's telling me that the balancer on the battery pack is getting ready to shut down, saying it's done. That's what I believe anyway. And there we go. It is charged. The watts meter on the left has now dropped all the way down to standby on the internal consumption of the power supply, and the BMS has done its job. I'm happy with that. I believe it's going to work. Just to tidy it up, finish it off, I'm going to run a cable tie just through the loop in those little holes down there. You can see just up through there, grab some of these wires and the BMS just to hold a bit more closer and firmer. Otherwise it's done. Okay, this is the mower. This is the original battery holder. Inside is those 10 amp 12 volt times 2 packs lead acid. So that's what these mowers are all about. Lead acid, they don't last, but it makes it good. This is not the mower that this battery's going in, but you can see those plugs down the bottom there. They get swapped out to fit the XT90 connector. So the idea is that just quite literally slots in, and it does have a little bit of play. If you want to get fancy, you could put some pack in each side, but why? It's not a race mower. So that's basically how it works.